What's going on, baseball enthusiasts? Can you believe that with the MLB season officially underway, there are still some pretty significant free agents looking for a home? And one of the most surprising names on that list is Alex Verdugo. This is a guy who was the everyday left fielder for the New York Yankees just last season, a team that made it to the World Series. He even had a decent showing in the Fall Classic. Yet, according to reports, he hasn't received a single offer from any MLB team this offseason. That's wild. It's definitely an interesting situation, to say the least. The article even mentions that many of Verdugo's former Yankees teammates, including big names like Aaron Judge, Anthony Volpe, Marcus Stroman, and Trent Grisham, have spoken highly of him. So, what's the hold-up? Why aren't teams lining up to sign him? Apparently, Verdugo did have some reported interest from teams like the Pittsburgh Pirates, Los Angeles Angels, and Houston Astros earlier in the offseason. However, none of that interest translated into an official contract offer. Each of those teams ended up going in a different direction, opting for other outfield options. For example, the Pirates signed Tommy Pham, and the Astros brought in Ben Gamel. The Angels showed initial interest but never followed up. So, what gives? Did Verdugo have a terrible 2024 season? Well, his offensive numbers did take a bit of a dip. He posted an OPS plus of 83, which was his lowest since 2018. His overall OPS dropped significantly compared to the previous year. That's certainly a factor. However, it's not all bad news for Verdugo. He's still relatively young, not even 30 yet, so he's likely still in the prime of his career and could definitely bounce back offensively. Plus, the guy can still play some serious defense in the outfield. While he might not be a center field option, he ranks really high in terms of range as a corner outfielder. He's also got a strong and valuable arm, according to Baseball Savant, and let's not forget, he's been a pretty reliable player in terms of staying healthy and on the field. Considering all of that, it's honestly quite surprising that Verdugo hasn't landed a deal yet. It makes you wonder what's really going on behind the scenes. Hopefully, a team will recognize his value and give him an opportunity soon. What do you think? Why hasn't Verdugo been signed? Let us know in the comments below. What's up, Yankees faithful? It seems like the injury bug just won't leave the Bronx. Manager Aaron Boone dropped some concerning news on Sunday, revealing that Clarke Schmidt's scheduled start against the Toronto Blue Jays on Monday has been scratched due to shoulder soreness. This is the last thing the Yankees needed with opening day just around the corner. Instead of taking the mound, Schmidt is now slated to throw a bullpen session, and depending on how that goes, further testing might be necessary to determine the severity of the issue. This is particularly worrisome considering the Yankees are already dealing with significant injuries to their ace, Jarrett Cole, and young right-hander Luis Gil. Now, the availability of Schmidt, who was expected to be a key piece of the rotation, is also up in the air. Schmidt is coming off a pretty solid 2024 season, even though he was limited to just over 85 innings due to a lat strain. He posted an impressive 2.82 ERA and showed some real potential. The Yankees were counting on him to be a reliable starter this year, and losing him for any significant amount of time would really stretch their pitching depth thin. In some potentially good news, with Schmidt's start being pushed back, it looks like both Will Warren and Carlos Carrasco are now likely to make the opening day roster. Warren, a young righty, has had a great spring, and veteran Carlos Carrasco, who was initially signed to a minor league deal, has also impressed. It seems the Yankees might have to lean on these guys more than they initially anticipated. The Yankees are obviously hoping that Schmidt's shoulder soreness is just normal fatigue as he ramps up for the season. Minor discomfort is pretty common for pitchers during spring training, and the team is being cautious, which is understandable. However, given the recent run of injuries to their pitching staff, it's hard not to be a little concerned. If Schmidt needs more time to recover, the Yankees' rotation will be looking pretty shaky heading into the season. We'll all be keeping a close eye on his upcoming bullpen session, hoping it's just a minor setback and not another major blow to the Yankees' pitching plans. The health of their rotation is going to be crucial for their success this season. So let's hope for the best for Clarke Schmidt. What's up, Yankees faithful? After some initial concern about Clarke Schmidt's shoulder soreness, we've got some positive news to share. Manager Aaron Boone announced that Schmidt threw a bullpen session on Monday, and by all accounts, It went really well. You might remember that Schmidt's scheduled start was pushed back because his shoulder wasn't feeling quite right after his first outing. But he stepped back on the mound for a 24-pitch bullpen session. And Boone told reporters that it went well for the young right-hander. Even better, Schmidt himself told The Athletic that he felt good afterwards and isn't too worried about his shoulder. It looks like the Yankees might have dodged a bullet there, which is definitely a relief. We also got an update on Giancarlo Stanton, who's been dealing with those elbow issues all spring. Boone mentioned that Stanton is doing more in his recovery. Although he didn't get into specifics beyond that, Stanton hasn't participated in any baseball activities so far this spring. So any progress is definitely a good sign as he continues to work his way back. With that, late May return still the target. More good news on the injury front involves veteran infielder LeMahieu. Boone reported that DJ is moving the needle in his recovery from that left calf strain and has actually resumed hitting. That's fantastic to hear, especially considering LeMahieu has been plagued by injuries over the past year. Hopefully, this is a sign that he's on the road to getting back on the field and contributing for the Yankees. Finally, we also got a quick update on reliever Jake Cousins, who's been sidelined with a right forearm strain. He's progressed to throwing at 90 feet, which is another positive step in his recovery process. So, overall, it's a pretty encouraging injury report coming out of Yankees camp today. The news on Schmidt and LeMahieu is particularly positive. And while we're still waiting for more specifics on Stanton, the fact that he's doing more is also a good sign. Let's hope these guys continue to progress and get back on the field soon to help the Yankees in their quest for a championship. What's going on, baseball fanatics? You are not going to believe this. Joey Gallo, a guy who's been crushing home runs and playing the outfield and first base in the big leagues for the past decade, is apparently looking to make a pretty drastic career change. After being released by the Chicago White Sox on Sunday, Gallo is reportedly considering trying his hand at pitching. Seriously. According to White Sox assistant general manager Josh Barfield, Gallo had expressed interest in exploring pitching if things didn't work out with the major league team. And after his release, Gallo himself took to social media to confirm the news, posting, "Just to be clear, I will be pitching," after a playful initial post about his time in the outfield. Now, this isn't completely out of the blue. Believe it or not, Gallo was actually a pitcher back in high school and was pretty good. He even threw a no-hitter. However, he ultimately earned accolades and attention for his hitting prowess. White Sox manager Will Venable wished Gallo luck as he starts a new chapter as a pitcher. It seems the White Sox's current pitching depth didn't allow for Gallo to take on this experiment within their organization. Interestingly, Gallo isn't the first player to try this kind of switch recently. Brett Phillips and Tyler Naquin, both of whom also played for the White Sox before deciding to transition to pitching, have ventured down this path. Phillips even made a brief pitching appearance in the minors last year. It's definitely a surprising move for a player with Gallo's established career as a hitter. He's a two-time All-Star and a two-time Gold Glove winner as an outfielder. It's going to be fascinating to see if he can make this transition to the mound. Pitching in the major leagues is a whole different ballgame, pun intended, and it will take a lot of work and dedication. Will we see Joey Gallo throwing heat in an MLB game anytime soon? Only time will tell, but this is certainly one of the most unexpected stories of the young season. What do you think? Can Gallo make it as a pitcher in the big leagues? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What's up, Yankees faithful? We've been waiting patiently for updates on Giancarlo Stanton's recovery from those torn tendons in both elbows. And it looks like we've finally got some good news to share. Manager Aaron Boone provided an encouraging update on Monday, letting us know that Stanton has begun participating in some baseball activities behind the scenes. Now, before we get too excited, it's important to remember that Stanton is still in the early stages of his rehabilitation process. He hasn't started swinging a bat yet, but the fact that he's doing a little bit of everything else is definitely a step in the right direction. The Yankees are still being cautious with his recovery, and the optimistic timeline for his return remains around Memorial Day in late May. At this point, their main focus isn't rushing him back for opening day. Instead, they're prioritizing making sure he's fully healthy and ready to make a big impact in the second half of the season and, hopefully, the playoffs. We all know what Stanton is capable of when he's healthy, Just look back at last postseason. He was one of the Yankees' most dangerous hitters. He was absolutely crushing the ball and was a key contributor to their offense. If they can get that version of Stanton back when it matters most, then a few extra months of waiting will definitely be worth it. In the meantime, with Stanton sidelined, the Yankees have been turning to left-handed slugger Ben Rice to fill the designated hitter spot. And he's been making the most of his opportunity. Rice has been one of the hottest hitters for the Yankees this spring, putting up some impressive numbers and showing that he's ready to contribute. He even added some muscle in the offseason and is driving the ball with some serious authority, which is exactly what the Yankees need with Stanton out. So, while Stanton's return is still a couple of months away, this latest update is definitely a positive sign. His slow and steady progress is encouraging. And until he's ready to go, the Yankees seem to have a capable fill-in in Ben Rice. Let's all keep our fingers crossed that Stanton's recovery continues to go smoothly. And we can't wait to see him back in the lineup later this season, ready to mash some baseballs.